Hey.
Okay. It was confusing. So it was like my phone was ringing, but my computer was not. But then we figured things out. So.
Okay. So apparently we are live now and recording.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm going to download this from YouTube and edit it when it's done, hopefully.
Okay.
And did you decide on certain questions that you wanted to answer or not?
I have the questions.
Okay.
I was reading them to my lab mates, and they were laughing and giving me answers that were not that truthful. So.
Oh, like their answers, or like as you would answer?
Yeah, probably as I would answer, but as jokes.
Okay, got it.
But yeah,
that's fun.
We're kind of in after that like Nature commentary or Nature whatever news article that came out about Jonathan.
Yep.
With some entertaining quotes in it.
Yeah, I thought
so. So it's a funny day around here, but okay.
Right. Well, the part where he advocates tripping acid to.
Yeah. That's
the memorable quote.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. He tells us that, but none of us thought it would be like in an article, like a published thing. So.
Yeah.
So, okay. So how many people have you interviewed or talked to?
I think we're up to 8 now, and I have 2 more to actually publish.
Okay.
In the coming weeks, and I need to recruit more people. So if your lab mates were willing to do this, like.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I tried to get everyone in our plant biology program like aware of it and be like, you should do this, or you should tell your PI to do this, but I don't know if that.
Right. Well, Sarah Shales already told me that someone got in touch with her because of her interview to talk about editing. So I was like,
yeah,
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, Susan wanted a video for the Plant A Pavilion, so that's why we're doing.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll do the best.
So you said, what have people been avoiding?
Yeah. Well, so the ones nobody has answered are like the plant biology field one about the broader impacts of and pioneering discovery.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's tackled that one. People have avoided what's an obstacle, doing an experiment that you figure out a solution to. And let's see. People have tended to avoid the sharing mistakes as well, but not everyone.
Okay.
And there's one more that like, the magical scientific genie one. There's very few people that have actually answered that.
Wouldn't everyone just say money? Like.
Yeah, I think that's probably.
Yeah, money is the easy answer to that. But.
Yeah, like I mean, I think I'm still up for this job at the Boyce Thompson Institute that I interviewed for a couple of weeks ago, but.
Yeah. What is it? What is the job?
Digital communications officer.
Oh.
Which would be, so it's not a science job, but.
Right, yeah. It's science adjacent, right? That's the phrase you're supposed to use now?
That's the phrase I use.
Yeah.
And that is literally what I'm going for at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need away from the bench. But anyway, we can chat a bit afterwards or at the conference.
So I should answer some of these and then we'll go from there. Or how do we want to do this?
How's this? Like, I guess they're not numbered, which would have been smart. But when I'm doing this on text, it's easier not to have the numbers there.
Right.
So, like, I'll ask you the first. Like, I'll let you do like a quick bio of yourself, and then I'll talk about like where you are and what your current job title is, which you can cover in your little spiel. And then I'll ask the first 4 questions about one word that describes how you work, a favorite thing you do at work, Do you have a favorite plant?
Not really.
Okay. That's a little deeper.
Functionally, it's like a coffee tree, right? Like,
yeah, there you go. Okay,
yeah.
that works. Like, I mean, people have not really answered that too often, actually.
Yeah.
And then if you want to talk about one of the projects you're working on briefly,
yeah.
And then we can get into the actual like questions, and like I can go through the asterisk set that I just like we laid out at the beginning as a set.
Okay.
Because like, and then if there's one that you really want to answer that's not a part of that,
go for it, I guess. Yeah.
then, right. Well, like just let me know and I'll ask you, and then you can do an answer. Because like I think a lot of this is going to be cut down by me, like or
right.
Susan.
Yeah.
Like you know,
okay.
It'll be asking the question and then you giving an answer, and then we can chat a little bit, and then we can do the next one. And
okay. Yeah. All right.
Does that work? Okay.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, well, I guess I'll do the intro and then you can,
I mean, do you want me to just do the intro, say my name, what I do, that kind of stuff?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can, right.
Yeah. So I'll just like turn these top things into sentences.
Right.
Okay.
And
yeah. Okay. I'm Molly Hanlon.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
And
okay, I'll just start then. I'm Molly Hanlon. I'm a PhD student at Penn State University, and I'm in the plant biology program. One word that describes how I work is, this is a hard one. I should have thought of it. Yeah. Do you have one? Do you have an answer to that?
I don't, because I flip all the time too. What I would say for this. I guess I would say I work curiously, maybe, because like my favorite thing to do is actually dive into, like the knowledge that's already out there. And
right.
Like, that's in the context of me researching for writing my blog.
Right. Yeah.
And just like talking to scientists like about what they're doing.
Well, I got it. I think one word that describes how I work is socially.
Okay. That's a good one. All right. No one has used that one yet.
There we go. My favorite thing that I do at work is probably have really interesting and intriguing conversations with my lab mates.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite plant, I think, functionally has to be the coffee tree, right? Because no grad student does well without that.
Yep.
And one interesting project I've been working on. One thing, okay, I'll start that one over so you can edit all this out. One interesting project I've been working on is I've been working with some other people in my lab to look at factors that might control certain root traits across different grasses. So both in rice and in corn and in brachypodium to some extent, to see how those plants perform better under stress.
Okay, cool.
Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and you're looking at traits that go across, that are common to all those species.
Right, and like the control of them. So like we're doing GWAS in rice and corn, and then we're using brachypodium as a model and using all of the mutant lines to figure out if we knock those genes out in brachypodium, does it do the same thing?
Got it. Okay, I see. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the great introduction, and we'll start the actual proper questions.
All right.
And like I said, I'm just going to go through the ones that are asterisked, and if one you want to answer that's not, just flag me and we'll do that.
All right.
So, what is your workspace setup like?
I have many different workspaces. So our lab here at Penn State, we actually have 4 labs, 3 greenhouses. I have an office here and I have an office at home. And I would say with what I'm doing right now, I spend most of my time at the computer. And there are 2 things that are key to my workspace setup. One is a big monitor, and the other is the ability to sit and stand. So I spend a lot of my time working at a standing desk. Otherwise, I slouch and have bad posture and get uncomfortable.
I see. Okay, yeah, yeah. I need to work on, yeah, that's something I have. I'm
Yeah.
starting to have back issues too, and I don't know if it's what it's related to, but
Yeah. Just blame science.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so what are some tools, apps, or websites that you use every day? And do you have a favorite one that you like to use for whatever reason?
Yeah. So I'm a big Google Drive user for accessing my documents everywhere. But to back up all my data, I use CrashPlan, which is a really good mindless data backup thing, which I think is really important.
I need to get into using CrashPlan. I downloaded it a long time ago, and I have not backed up my data to the cloud yet.
Yeah, I set it up and I just let it go, which is nice. In terms of websites I visit every day, especially today when I've been hacking away at R, is Stack Overflow, which I'm constantly looking for something on Stack Overflow and trying to use that code to my own advantage. So I would say that, definitely visit that every day. I would say I'm on Twitter every day, whether it's actively or passively, just seeing what's going on there and keeping up with things.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe should I also say Plante? Like I'm on Plante every day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be on Plante more, and Twitter is my main social network still.
Right. Yeah.
As I'm trying to learn how to do R, like I Google and use Stack Overflow a lot.
Right.
They have a lot of answers there.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question. So if you could eliminate one thing you spend a lot of time on, what would it be?
Trying to think. Probably fixing my own mistakes, or right. That's something I spend a lot of time doing that I wish I didn't have to. I know it's a learning process, but
don't we all?
Yeah, but little errors that are easy to fix. But even things like looking back at my old data or old things I've written, trying to make sense of them as I switch versions or I switch the way I do things. I look back at old stuff and I'm like, that's no good. I don't want to keep using that. So I think that's something I spend more time on than I should, is making sense of my old work.
Yeah, me too. And like I've gotten better. Like I have like a Slate system now that works for organizing all the online content I'm generating.
Yeah.
But, with lab things, I'm looking back at my old stuff. I'm like, how did I do that before?
Right.
Especially now that I've adopted actually R to do all of my statistics. I don't understand how I did it before. I'm just like, that was so inefficient.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
I know R makes things easier, but it can be just as messy.
Right.
So
I still format all my data in Excel, but then I import it into R and do my ANOVA or whatever.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So what have been the biggest productivity tools you've been using either for a long time or recently adopted?
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of productivity as like a
Okay. Well, I can tell you other people have answered with things like Google Docs.
Right. Oh yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it can be that broad as a tool. Like,
I would say
think them across systems, and like you can take your iPad and have your Google Doc up and writing something. And
so I do use Google Docs. And I've recently tried to switch most of my writing away from Word and into Google Docs. And so to do that, I've also to switch my reference manager. So I use PaperPile, which works with Google Docs, which is nice.
Okay. Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Like, do you have a reference manager that you use in Google Docs?
I look back and I'm like, how did I survive before a reference manager? Because I remember manually typing in references. But I used Mendeley for a long time. But then when I decided to switch to Google Docs, I adopted PaperPile, which is nice.
Okay.
So.
Is that the only one that's compatible with Google Docs currently?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but I think so. It's not free, but I think it's like $3 a month, which is
okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah, I can handle that, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
all right. No, that's a fine answer. All right. So slightly on the more profound side, what's some of the best advice you've ever received?
I don't know. I have two things here. I don't know if this is best advice, but I remember very early on when I started doing plant biology research, my advisor told me that plants don't take holidays or weekends, which is something good to internalize early on, that, you know, if my plants needed to be watered, I had to be there to water them. So that was just kind of a good piece of perspective. I think the other piece of advice that I've like carried over into research, but initially wasn't about that, came from a swim coach I had when I was 10 or 11 years old. And he would always say, always be a little bit uncomfortable. And it was about training, right? You never want to be going so easy that you're not tired. But I think that it really applies to anything you're doing. So you can get into, you know, doing experiments that you know, or doing the work that you know and never branching out. So I think I just have made that kind of a piece of advice that I've carried over into research. So like, maybe I don't know a lot about this, and it makes me uncomfortable to try, but I should do it because I'll learn something from it.
Yep. No, that's right. I mean, that's sort of been my philosophy of how I've gotten into Twitter and blogging, and Joe Palca was the NPR science correspondent who I met yesterday, which was awesome because he was here for an event. He essentially said the exact same thing. He's like, yep, I said yes to a lot of things that I was really uncomfortable with, but pushed me hard, but I said yes and I did them, and now, you know, and I'm here. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of the times for me, my advisor will say, can you do this? And I'll say, I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out, or I think I can, so I'll figure it out. So it's a lot of just kind of wandering into nowhere and trying to find my way out, which is very frustrating at times, but I think in the end, rewarding.
Yeah, the thing that frustrates me the most about that process is that it takes time and can seem really inefficient, even though it's all necessary, but boy.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's one effect that, sorry, this will be edited out, but like, I feel like that's one effect of the funding crunch that is really underappreciated, that like everyone feels the need to maximize efficiency of resources. But like when you're trying to generate new knowledge or do science or learn new things, like whether it's yourself or like, you know, testing a hypothesis, like, yeah, you're going to go down a lot of blind alleys, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. And it's like that, the most interesting things might be there, but but
you don't know until you go wander in, right?
Yeah.
So. Okay. So next question. What's the best thing you've ever learned?
The best thing I've ever learned. What have other people answered?
I don't remember any answers to this one. Like, I mean, a lot of it is sort of similar to the previous one, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But one person, actually, the last person, Matt Lucy, answered that basically like going from genome sequence to final analysis of it, like along the whole computational pipeline. Like for him, that was the most satisfying and best thing he's ever learned. Like, you know, he said it was like, that was the most satisfying thing that I've done so far. And now it's awesome that essentially he does that for his living now.
Right. Yeah.
But like the first time he did, he's like, this is the best thing I ever learned for my career. So that's one example of an answer.
Yeah.
I really like that answer a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one. But it's also like one thing, you know, like.
Right. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, you know, I mean, and maybe there's not a best thing, like, you know, what's a thing that you learned that like you seem to go back to again and again, or that, you know, is just like, wow, I'm glad I learned to do that.
Yeah, like how to use R.
Yeah,
I would say adopting R early is one of the best things that I learned. I had absolutely no computer science or coding or any sort of background like that. But when I started in my lab, it was like, we use R, go. And that was before a lot of things have gotten a lot easier in R. And there are a lot more resources, but I think learning that early and kind of just diving in and going with it has been really beneficial to me, because it's kind of expanded what I think is possible. So if I get a big data set, I'm not, just going to get the means and the standard deviations. I think because I've learned more skills in R, I can look at that data very differently. So I think that's been beneficial, and I think that's something I can continue to build on.
Yep, and I keep trying to convince the entire lab to start learning R, but nobody's bitten except me so far. I'm like, no, you guys, you have to understand.
Yeah, I think
the thing is, I can't even do that much. I just
I would say the first year I used R, it was like I could have done everything I was doing in Excel 100 times faster. But then at some point, I just was like, well, there are things I can't do in Excel that I want to do, and I can only do them in R. And so now I open Excel and I'm like, what's this? How do I do anything? So I've kind of
and I think
I can open data and sort it. That's about it.
Yep. Yeah. And I can Yep. That's basically what I'm using it for now too.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And for learning R, I'm generating a data set for fun based on a podcast I listen to, where I'm just gathering its statistics, and I want to do a data analysis in R because it's going to make me learn a few new things.
Yeah.
And I think
that's now there's I don't know if it's a package, or there's some tool that you can parse Twitter from R.
Yeah. So, there's it's the twit. I think it's called Twit R.
Probably. Yeah. But you could you can link it to your account, so you could collect all of your data, or you could look at all of your followers.
Yep, I had not thought of that. I should do that. One of the things I need to do for this year's conference, the digital media stuff, is look up Noah Falgren's GitHub page from last year when he did that analysis of the Twitter activity.
Yeah, I did something like that just for fun one time, and I was just if I take the bios of everyone who follows me or everyone I follow, can I make a word cloud, or can I look at overrepresented words? And it was not super hard. And I think he did a very similar thing with all the tweets that were hashtagged for the meeting. So
yeah, exactly. I think that's because one of the things I'm really trying to focus on this year, since I'm not doing a poster and I'm not doing a lot of science at the conference, is I'm going to cover the digital side of the conference the best I possibly can.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
All the tools and find all the stories and but back to the
all right. Questions.
So music, silence, white noise, what works for you?
So when I'm writing, I always listen to music. When I'm doing data analysis, I always listen to music. And it varies on my mood, I think. Sometimes I need to get pumped up, I can tackle this, and I listen to something pretty upbeat. When I'm working in the lab or the greenhouse, it's always a podcast of some sort. So I think that's a fun way to listen to something that's thought-provoking, but isn't necessarily science, but it keeps me exposed to a lot of other things that are going on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Okay, and all right. So what do you spend your time thinking about that's not your next proposal, publication, or project deadline?
Other than what kind of job I'll have next, or what my future is.
I mean, that could be something you think about too.
That's a big one, right? So my plan is to graduate before too long. So I think a lot about what do I want to do next, and where do I want to be, and how can I get there?
Yep. So, I can relate to that feeling.
That's a big one.
Even as a postdoc.
Yeah. Otherwise, I think about the big thing I think about, is it raining outside? Am I going to get rained on my bike ride home? That's a very common thought anytime I'm in the lab. Yeah.
Okay. Are you a bike commuter every day?
I am, yeah. Okay. It's only about 2 miles. I think if I drove to campus, I would park a mile away from my office. So I just ride my bike. And so There was one winter I rode every single day. I was really proud of that. It was like minus 20 degrees. I was like riding my bike, but
That's awesome.
yeah, this winter, so I had knee surgery in December, so I was off my bike for a while, but back at it now.
Awesome. Oh, that's good. Okay, and just two more questions. All right, so if you're okay sharing, what's one way that viewers, in this case, can get in touch or follow along with your work? Like, how do we get in touch with you if you're okay sharing like your Twitter handle, email, whatever?
Well, I guess if we're tweeting at the meeting, I'll be on the Twitter stream.
Okay. But
my Twitter handle, it's kind of I've had it forever. I'll tell a story.
Oh, so yeah, please.
It's Malls Larity, which my friends in college, so I was a chemistry tutor for the swim team when I was in college. And we'd have this study group in this room, and they'd come in, and I'd always be saying to the freshmen on the team, like, you have to think about molarity. Like, you can't just you have to think about moles, and you have to think about molarity. So they started calling me, they called me Malls, it's Molly, and then they just added the larity because they were sick of me yelling at them about molarity. So that's where it came from. And I've never changed it, which is, I've thought about it, but then I'm too lazy.
So. Yeah. Okay. Huh. I always wondered about that. I was like, it's derivation of your name, but I'm not sure exactly what. And it's a mystery. Okay. Okay. And then the last thing is, who would you like to see do this next? Like, who is somebody you'd like to see answer these questions?
Trying to think of like who I can say that would actually maybe do it.
Well, even if they won't, it's okay. Like, I mean, I pester people basically once, and if they get back to me, great. And if not, I might pester a couple of them again, but.
Maybe someone who's like what about like Phil Taylor, someone who's like a plant scientist by training, but does something totally different now, just to be like this, the breadth of our field.
Okay. I will ask him. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, he's one who I had in mind, and like, I have not explicitly asked him like, hey, would you do this?
Yeah.
I asked suggestions of people, but.
Yeah. So I was thinking I can answer the mistake question.
Okay. So let me. Okay, sure. So, all right, I'll ask that. So, if you're comfortable sharing, what's a mistake that you made, and how did you resolve it?
I think the biggest mistake I made was when I was starting in college. I was like, plants are the worst, and I never want to work on plants. So my mistake was being very dismissive of something I didn't know anything about. And I resolved it by getting a job in a plant lab because it was what was available. But and then just like being open to it once I was involved. But I look back on that a lot. And anytime I go to a seminar that I'm not super interested in, I'm like, well, this could be interesting. Think of how you thought about plants, 10 years ago, and look where you are now. So I think that's.
Yeah, and this was like, as an undergrad, you got involved in plant science.
Right. Yeah, but it was I think it was a big mistake of me to be as dismissive as I was of a whole field without knowing anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Like, my example of that I use a lot is like, I was very skeptical of Twitter for a very long time.
Yeah.
Now I'm up to over 2,000 followers. And
wow. Yeah.
Not to brag, I just, I don't know how that actually happened, where I'm like, well, wait, I don't know how many of them are spam bots, to be fair, but.
Right. Yeah.
I interact with enough real people on there that I'm comfortable saying, like, and like when I ask things on Twitter, I get responses now.
Right. You have like hundreds of real people followers who interact with you.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had the pleasure of curating Real Scientists in March, and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
that has 31,000 followers, and that was crazy.
Who runs that? Like who's
So the person who founded it is Upili Dijkstra, who is, I don't know a lot about her other than like, she's, her Twitter handle is at Upili, and she's Australian, and it started in Australia. And I think she have co-founded it with some other scientists there. And they now have like a whole blog and like,
okay, so it's just like a network of scientists. It's not like an organization or a
yeah. So I think they're constantly growing now because like they have admins and they have people who run their website and like, but I think it's all volunteer still.
Yeah. Okay.
So, because like I did it in March and they just published my exit interview last week.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like they're, like I think they are just like scientists who are volunteering their time to curate this. And then like obviously they have like the guest curator each week.
Right.
Like, all you have to do is just like email them saying, like, hey, I'm interested, and they'll sort of put you in the queue.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
So, okay. So that was the interview. Like, is there anything else you wanted to say or do before I stop the broadcast?
I don't think
we can get back on the video chat in the chat window if you want to talk a little bit more. But
yeah, no, I think it's good. I think.
Okay.
Is Carl going to do it? Did you talk to him?
I haven't heard back from him, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's not much of a. He doesn't seem to be like too active on Twitter outside of
events and conferences.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, maybe. Are you gonna video interview other people?
Well, I'm starting with you, and like I'll see if Susan. Like, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should maybe get like Crispin or someone to do like one question.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, because even if you just had like people who I feel like having faces that people at the meeting recognize doing it would be good.
Yeah, and like honestly, like I should have somebody interview me to do it too. Like,
right. Yeah. Make Susan do it so she can get a. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, because I think the other thing that we might be able to do is sort of like infographic the interviews that we have now, or like make them into like a single image and like have them like as slides on a screen as well as the video interview.
Right. Yeah. Just have like a pop up with like the answer and.
Right. With the answers. Yeah. So that might be a thing that we do too. Like,
Yeah.
But like you're the only video that we have planned right now, I'll be honest. So
all right. So I'll be at the people will be like, I saw you on the video, and I'll be like, great.
Yeah, I mean, well, like it'll be like, yeah. Everyone comes up to me at the meeting now, is like, you're the Twitter guy. Oh God. It's still a little cringeworthy for me, but it's flattering, it's just.
Yeah. Are you putting together like a team of people like we had last year? Yeah.
Yes, I've been trying to. Like, I think they still need to send out the email calling for people because, like, I've been trying to recruit people via Twitter, and like that is fallen pretty flat so far. And I don't know if it's because it's like a little bit far out from the meeting.
Right.
But, like, I'm trying to generate the list of people who will be there.
Yeah. Like, I feel like last year we had like a core group, but then we had a lot of people who were like volunteered and then didn't do a whole lot.
Right. So here's the other thing that I'm trying to add this year that I just saw a flash on Twitter that somebody had where they were like, they had people commit to like, what sessions are you going to be attending for sure at this conference?
Right.
And they had the Twitter handles like next to who is going to be at that session. And like, if you want to follow this session on Twitter, follow that person. Right. Yeah. Like, so I want to do that this year because that's awesome. Like, that is a clever idea.
Yeah. I think you just have to, I think one of the things too is like at the beginning of the meeting, everyone is tweeting with a lot of like excitement and enthusiasm. Right. By the time we get to like Wednesday, it's like one tweet every.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why, again, like one of the reasons why I'm trying to only wear one hat this year. So like I can only focus on that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll need a break too, for sure, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, but also like if Mary Williams is there, she's always.
God damn it! I want to be as good as she is. Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
you should have her do this sometime too.
Yes. You know what? I'm gonna hit up Mary Williams to do this.
Yeah. She would be a good one. She would probably have some really interesting answers about.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. No, I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I do. Okay, that's one thing I've been worried about with just like putting out the volunteer basis is like that we won't get a representative sample, and like I worry about only accessing English speaking world and
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But I also feel like if she did it and then if she like posted it, she has so many like followers and so many people, it might like catch on a little more.
Right, because like I mean, and she's somebody who's like really respected in the plant science community.
Right,
like,
right,
no
yeah.
doubt about it.
So,
but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I will stop this for now, and thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
And I'll like I said, I'll hopefully this recorded, and I'll be able to find the video on YouTube, and you know, I'll let you know if we have to do this again for some reason. But.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Good talking.
Yeah. Nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.